All right, so we did a poll. We did a poll on, for the people in the audience who want to see what everyone's thinking. If they thought the closer was offensive to trans community or LGBT community. Did you think that what he said in the comedy special was wrong? Let's see what we got with the poll. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that whole thing. Oh, it's a little bit cut off. Let's see. 53%. Oh, I'm sorry. 53 votes. 52% didn't think there was nothing wrong with what he said. And there was 49 votes. 48% thought his jokes were hateful. Okay. With this protest going on, do you think the people who are protesting, let me move this out the way, the people who are protesting Dave Chappelle's closer, do you think they are right with what they're doing? Do you think, or do you think they're overreacting? So
I'm gonna leave it, and the reason why I'm gonna leave it is because of this. I feel like their fight is with Netflix. I am an artist first. I'm passionate about art, and I'm at the point now, like I don't know, maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I don't know, something happened, something hit me upside the head or something, but I just reached out. I don't give a point in life. So that's where I'm at. And I've been happily there for the last couple of years. That said, art is very important. And you got to realize that if you don't like a certain art display, you can unsubscribe from it. You can look away from it. You cannot patronize it. That's how you fight that. If you feel like it's a fight, I don't feel like it's a fight because think about it. It's a comedian. Okay. It's a comedian. If I was had my dream body. If I was 150 pounds soaking wet, ripped up abs, curvy body, beautiful shape and everything, and somebody said, let's go against this comedian who's shaming BBWs, I'm gonna keep it real. F him. That's all advice I'm gonna give you. F him. But that ain't my fight. It's not. Because it's a comedian expressing themselves in art. Now that you can go and talk about Dave Chappelle, all of the community that's mad at him, they can do a whole special roasting his whole life if they want to, and nobody could stop them. Nobody could stop them. So there comes a point where you have to realize that, like that. And now he's trying to tell people that, he had this close relationship with this trans person. So it's not like he couldn't possibly just hate all trans because he has this close relationship with a trans. So there's not a way. So, there's no way he could just hate trans people. Obviously, he wouldn't have been this close to this person. And then her family is vouching for her. Her family is vouching.
But what you're saying is the equivalent of white folks when they say they have black friends.
Black friend, I do.
It's not the equivalent. Because the equivalent is
it's the
what have you done for black people? It's not about look what he's done. Look how he's helped her.
I understand exactly what you're saying. So if you see me rising up, that's not because I'm taking an issue with what you're saying, right? I just want you to understand that that's just how I process stuff. So I don't want you to think that I'm getting mad at you, Alexa, at all. But I will say this.
I don't. No, I've had this argument 10 times.
Right. But I will say this, even if that's the case, we have to understand that our words matter. Words matter. We can't go out here, especially when we have a platform like Dave Chappelle does, and be all willy-nilly about the things that we say. We have to have care and concern behind the things that we say. I take having this platform seriously, because what happens is, and what, we have to understand is that people lost their family members and their friends to identify as what they identified as this. So yeah, they're going to be sensitive. You have to understand that not only do we have the baggage of being gay, we also have the baggage of the stuff that we took from our parents, the microaggressions that they put on us and all the baggage that we carry, for just being Black in America. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. So we can't use the blanket statement of saying, well, he's an artist. He's still responsible for what he says. And he has to understand, and I'm sure he knows, which is why he responded in the way that he responded, that what you say do affect people, because the same thing that he talked about on his special, saying that this is what they said that hurt me, he did the same thing to them. They're saying that he did, it's basically being done on both sides. All I'm saying is this: at the end of the day, we should at least be able to have a conversation. Whether you, just like you said earlier, I think it was before we started, you might not necessarily change my mind, but you hear where I'm coming from.
I hear both sides of what y'all saying. I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. I'm going to leave it, but here's why. In this specific instance, I don't know. Do any of y'all remember the guy? He was on Seinfeld. His name was Kramer. I think his name was Michael
Yeah.
Richards.
Mm-hmm.
You remember he got in a bit of trouble years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he said the N-word. He talked about hanging niggas from trees, shit like that. I get that. That to me, that sounds like hate speech. There was like nothing bringing people together at all with that. And that's why I say there's levels to this. When I heard this special, to me, I felt like this was more inclusion than separation. And here's why. Because Dave does joke on everybody. The Asian community, the Mexicans,
Everybody.
Black people,
Yes.
he goes in on them. And with the level with what he was joking on, and I'll have to say too, this special part was a little bit different than most of his special, because this one, it felt like a conversation more than just a stand-up special. So it felt a little bit more personal than anything, than any of his stand-up he's done previously. But to me, it felt like, if you're not going to let me joke about it, and that's why we're having a conversation. I don't feel like it was hateful. But again, that's why you have these conversations. I felt like he did them like he would do anybody else. And I felt like that was a way to bring people together. Because if I can joke on you, hey, then I can joke, like a roast session. Like, if you
Right.
you tell your mama jokes and like, hey, anybody can get it here. I didn't see it. And like I said, maybe you can relay what he said that was really hateful. I didn't see what was hateful, what that would make, to your point where you were saying, yeah, trans community has the highest murder rate of any demographic in America. I didn't see anything really that could really be taken as this person's not a human, they deserve to die. Compared to Michael Richards thing where he was talking about hanging people from trees.
Right.
I didn't see anything where he was saying these people are not human; they are less than.
And my point was more or less about the people that are in the comments that are defending David, who are going to these people's pages and like, for example, T.S. Madison. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
I love
T.S. Madison.
I've been following her for years.
The thing about it, there was a point she was actually talking about. She said she wasn't going to talk about the show, but people were, in her DMs talking about, you're not a man, and how, being hateful in that way, trying to discredit her, her woman, or you're not a woman, discredit her womanhood, and using, Dave Chappelle's special to be able to spew that hate. I ain't saying that it's right. And a lot of times people who have those thoughts and those feelings and they say those things, they're not rational people. So I'm not going to even introduce rationality into it. But what I'm saying is that was what I saw, in terms of the conversation. What I heard, and you asked the question, could you tell me some of the things that I felt was trans? I cannot, because I too am not trans. Right. I don't know what was hurtful, but what I did hear is that there was a group of people who said, hey, I'm hurt, and I need to talk about this.